Close the door, or we good? Conscious Intercourse.
Hey.
2023 edition.
Ooh, it is 2023. What's up, y'all? Happy New Year to
New
you.
calendar year, actually, right?
New
Yeah,
calendar
it's a new
year.
calendar year. The calendar flipped over to 2023,
It did. It
allegedly.
did. It did. And we are here.
Right.
Brand new start, brand new goals for some, you know,
Perhaps.
brand
Resolutions, right?
resolutions,
Right.
putting things into place and new boundaries.
Actually, let's go back.
What we going
We got
back
to
to?
do our intro.
What's our intro?
Conscious Intercourse.
You are now listening
To
to
Conscious
Conscious Intercourse
Intercourse.
on Power 108.9.
Right? The place where we consciously share our experiences to propel spiritual evolution.
Yes.
That part.
Y'all missed us? It's been a while. We've been going for a while. We're back.
We've been here spiritually, right? We've been in tune, connected, right? Because we still have episodes online, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. When you
Right.
miss it, you can always go back and
So
check us out
we
online.
actually are
We're always here.
infinitely here,
Infinitely here. Okay.
always. Actually,
Absolutely.
we're immortal now. We're immortalized by the internet. No, straight up,
I get it. We are.
we're immortalized. We're in the web. The web, the tangled web we weave.
Yes. And we have weaved 15 episodes?
Allegedly.
Yes, we did. We are on our 16th episode.
Is this what this is?
This
Actually,
is number 16.
number 7. Wow. So 1 plus 6 is 7. So this, going into
one.
numerology, right? This is a perfection episode, right? Because 7 is the number of perfection and completion.
7 is the
right?
number of completion. It is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So yes, 2023, right?
How you feeling? How was your new year? How did you bring it in?
Actually, I didn't even recognize it was a new year.
No.
I just I was doing something. I think I was spending time with the children. We were watching a game. It was like a phenomenal game.
Okay.
And we actually didn't realize it was actually past, the time when that ball is dropped or something.
Well, that's good then. You were
So-
in a blissful moment.
We were just connecting.
You were enjoying each other.
Yeah, connecting with the fam.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
How about you?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Kind of chilling out, enjoying the loved ones.
Most definitely. Right.
Talking about what we plan to do in the new year.
Create in the new year.
What we
right?
plan to do differently in the new year.
Differently, right? That's always the theme, right? It's
It's
new
always
year.
the
It's time for
theme
change. It's
because-
time for resolutions.
Absolutely.
It's time to gain weight.
Lose
It's
weight.
time to lose weight, right? It's
And that's
time
not
to-
always pounds.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, sometimes you got to let go of a lot of things that's
Yeah.
weighing you down.
Yeah, people, it's time to leave relationships. It's time to start relationships. It's time to leave
Businesses,
jobs.
start new
In
businesses.
businesses, right? It's always a pivotal point of some type of a change. right?
Exactly. And the new year always prompts that change.
Exactly.
Is beginning new healthy habits. That's one of my resolutions, I would say, is to establish new healthy habits, to get rid of some old habits,
Okay.
old way of thinking.
Correct.
Things that may have caused me to be less productive.
Indeed. Getting rid of the distractions, right?
Oh, there you go. Distractions.
Focus, right?
Absolutely. That is my biggest
Focus.
resolution.
Focus on one course until successful, right?
I wish it was one. Well, one course.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
can't, what I'm saying, focus on one course until successful. That's what I'm saying, until successful.
Until
then you could do other
successful.
things. At least it's just, something that I've found very intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
That, a lot of times we as people try to do all these things simultaneously. But,
That's what we do.
but our energy.
That's how we
yeah,
survive.
Allegedly.
It's the truth. I mean, I hear so many
Multitasking,
people,
right?
especially because like myself as an artist, people are always telling me, you need to focus on one thing. Stop trying to be all over the place. Focus
Yeah.
on one thing, own it, and just go hard. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah.
It's not. And I know I can see for a lot of people,
especially as a mother, right? As a mom,
especially
right?
as
Or a parent,
mother,
right? Or a single parent. At least for people that are single parents, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Or just when you have many gifts that can potentially be lucrative. It's like you got to be a hustler. You got to be doing this. You got to be doing that. One thing sometimes just don't cut it. You got to focus in on your spirituality.
Okay.
Self-care. Because as you're doing all these things and trying to manage all these things, sometimes you forget about yourself. Right?
So true.
You forget about your mental. You're just your mental health.
Exactly.
And that is another thing. Self-care. Like taking some time out just, to do me.
So apparently you're detailing your resolutions. That's what it sounds like.
Somewhat, yeah. Okay. And what I believe is on a lot of people's mind. I think that's something that resonates with a lot of people. Like I said, healthy habits.
But this happens typically every year, right?
Every year.
The new year comes in.
New goals, new resolutions.
People are broke, right?
People are broke.
They spend all their money on Christmas. Let me rephrase that. They spend all their money on Christmas.
On the holidays.
They spend all the money on Christmas. And now, right? And now they're broke, right?
Now they broke.
So now it's like, all right, damn, like I'm broke now. I gotta let me be better.
Let me hustle harder.
Let me hustle hard. Let me try something different to get this,
right.
change in my pocket until the refund check comes in, right?
Exactly. Right? At least make it through to the refund.
That refund check come in. It's
then
like
it's new goals. Hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody people like, all right, once I get this money, I'm gonna do better. But right now, up until then, I gotta do this.
So it's like this thing usually dies down. It's like it's January, the first week in January, everybody's focused, hitting the gym, eating well, getting it in. They got the vision board. They're looking at it every day.
Got your vision board.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got the vision board party. The vision board that you made at the vision board party at the New Year's, right? You got your vision board. You're looking at it every day. You do your push-ups. You're running. You know what I'm saying? You're eating your carrots and, right? Dipping your carrot in your orange juice. You know what I'm saying? You do all that good stuff, right?
What?
People dip carrot in orange juice. Right? People doing all these things that they believe are the key to their
happiness,
to a phenomenal year.
Yeah,
right? Like you said, their happiness, their success, right?
Absolutely.
Whatever that looks like.
Whatever that looks like. Self-discipline.
But then it usually tapers off, though.
Yeah, because we get distracted. That's the thing.
Is it distractions?
Getting back to the distraction.
Is it the distractions, or is it something bigger than that?
Like what?
Are we delusional?
No.
Right? It's like, why does it have to be this time period?
Why can't we be consistent?
Exactly. Is it because it's not innate?
Maybe because, it's...
What's the taper off? Yeah, go ahead.
When does it taper off?
Why does it taper off?
Because people may not be truly passionate about certain things.
But why not?
Or distractions. For me, I would say it could be distractions because things come up. You may get a random call from an old friend.
Oh, wow.
Somebody that you like, I swear I'm going to leave this person alone.
Yes.
I'm letting all that go.
Yeah.
What's up, big head? You're like, I said I wasn't going to talk to him no more, right?
They got their refund check, huh? I got my refund check. Let's go get a section at the club, huh?
But whatever it is, you could be like, I'm not drinking no more. I'm going to leave it alone. Or I'm going to cut back on the alcohol.
That part.
Then people be like, hey, yo, what you doing? Let's go pop some bottles. Let's, meet me over here. I'm like, all right, I have a drink just this time. Like,
yeah. And it's kind of like Denzel in that Airplane movie where he was sober for a long time. And then he got, he was in that hotel room.
And he just had to throw him back.
And the fridge popped open. And he was just like, Next thing you know, he was going in.
Distraction, but how do you prevent yourself from being distracted?
Is it distraction or is it just who you are?
See, the thing is, like you said, we implement things in the beginning of the year and say we're going to do this, we're going to be focused, we're going to be disciplined, and then it falls off because we're not doing those daily things that we need to do to keep them in check.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Like we say we're going to get up early in the morning, start our day off, we're going to meditate. Because meditation is important. Exactly. Sit and meditate in peace. Try to visualize what your day is going to be like. right? Put out
Visualization.
those positive affirmations to yourself.
Affirmations.
We do all this stuff in the beginning, right? And then we
Yes.
just go back to routine.
It
Go
become
back
is it
to,
does it become too hard?
I don't think it's about discipline again. Like we
Right.
just get so it's habit.
Right. Because
It's like creating
because it says it takes 30 days to create a
create a
habit. Right?
habit
So you got to consistently do this for 30
for
days.
30 days. But do you really? Like do people really let themselves truly form a healthy habit or habit?
But why is that
For
the
30
most
days.
difficult thing? Though? Why is forming a habit so difficult?
It's only difficult when you're thinking about it. It's not difficult when you're not thinking about it.
It's interesting. It's like fasting, right?
Yeah.
I'm usually like, the so
If you're working, if you're busy,
Like,
you
yeah.
don't eat. You're not thinking about
no,
food.
when I don't plan it, I
Yeah, you just
it
do
happens
it.
naturally, right? Without me actually telling myself that I'm fasting. Because if I tell myself I'm fasting, then I'd be hungry as a mug.
Right.
For me, every little piece of food
It's exactly like if
is
you tell yourself,
tantalizing.
I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
I don't want no alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's like the more I tell myself that, it's like, damn.
Can you think of a time where
One
you
drink.
actually? Can you think of a time where you actually kept up a commitment, or something that you felt like you wanted to do and it lasted, let's say longer than 30 days, it turned into months, turned into years? Can you think of something that? And what was different when you actually did that thing?
Something that I kept up consistently for more than 30 days.
Yeah.
Yes. I can say I have. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was the best thing.
Ooh. Could we get more details, please? Now, it wasn't the best thing. I'm like, okay, now this is getting interesting now.
This is the thing. And I say that because due to whatever circumstances we are in the moment, we tell
Yes.
ourselves things.
Okay.
Right? That this is like coping. This is what I need right now.
Okay.
So I have to continue to do this thing so I can cope. But
Exactly.
sometimes coping is not good. It's like drinking, right? Like
Yes.
some people drink so they won't feel, so they won't have to think about stuff.
Okay.
So it's like, every night before I go to bed, I'll have a glass of wine, so I can relax and settle down. But it's like you find yourself doing that. It's like, I just created a bad habit. Now I have to have a drink before I go to bed. That's what I mean. But I'm just using that as an example. Not
So
saying
that's what you was doing? You was
no,
shooting
no,
it
that's
up?
not. No, I was
shouting
just
it up before you go to bed every night?
I was using that as an example.
Okay, but we wanted you to give us your example. Come on. People want to hear real
okay,
truth.
listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
Unfiltered, unadulterated truth. Impeccable, empirical data. Right? Give the people the truth.
Listen,
like
listen,
real
people.
stuff.
Real stuff. This is what I
The real
said.
stuff.
Habits. Create, establish good habits. Know whether or not they actually work for you. Realize whether or not you're doing them to cope, and if that coping is healthy.
Okay.
That's just what I'm saying. Like, think about that. What outcome is coming from you doing that? Is it positive? Is it leading you in a better place, better direction? Or are you just simply coping so you don't feel? Right? Some people, I've heard some people say, I'm going to start therapy this year.
Yes.
I'm going to consult with someone who can just help me process these things that I'm dealing with.
Exactly.
Right? Is that something that you should do consistently? Is that something that you need to do consistently?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you need to tap in or consult with somebody every once in a while just to make sure you're mentally, good?
You need like a cheerleader or a coach, right? Somebody just keep you,
Just to let you know when you slipping a little bit.
or
Like,
motivate you, inspire
some
you,
people
right?
need that, right?
Yeah, like an accountability.
It don't have to necessarily be a therapist.
An accountability partner, right?
Okay, there
Somebody
you
to,
go.
somebody to hold you accountable, right?
Exactly. Some
You know,
people need that.
That's why some people get personal trainers, right? To start
For your
working out,
workout
right?
regimen, they keep you on track.
Yeah.
Some people get therapists. Sometimes it could be your partner, your significant other,
Exactly.
whatever it is. But somebody to help you, stay on task.
Yeah, that's very interesting, right? It's it's confounding sometimes, right? That it takes, even though we know certain things are good for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have like the willpower. That's the thing. That's the word. The willpower to
Sustain.
yeah, to propel us to continuously pushing us forward. So it's like that willpower kind of dies down. It's like
And it's
yeah,
faith as well. Like
exactly,
sometimes we don't. Go ahead. You have to believe it first in yourself. You
exactly.
have to believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Is it to me? It's like the word I'm thinking is conviction, right? You have to be
Convicted to
convicted
certain things. Yeah.
about certain things, right? Because I can remember when I even got on this vegan journey or the plant based journey, right? For me, it was something. Things kept happening, right? Things kept happening to push me in that direction, to
Right.
convince me like this was the right way for me to
Right.
pursue my life, at least for this time period.
Right.
So when I had that bad experience with that salmon at this, restaurant, I'm not gonna blast them, but I was just like, I'm done. Like this was nasty.
Right.
It made my stomach hurt. I was
That was your
done.
sign.
It was just done. I'm like, I just didn't crave it anymore. So it wasn't a resolution. It wasn't a thing, oh, today I'm gonna stop eating meat.
Right.
I was progressively just changing my diet, improving my, how I ate, and certain things just didn't make sense to me.
Right.
When I had that experience, was just did it for me. It was like I was done. But it wasn't something I said, oh, today I'm no longer eating meat. It's just something that I was on the path of doing, and evidence after evidence led me to this point of ultimate conviction.
And so
right?
your stomach turning, you being sick,
Yeah, all that stuff,
whatever
right?
that is.
But think about that. Even with alcohol, how many times have we been drunk, throwing up,
like I'm never doing this
hugging
again.
a toilet bowl, right? Jose Cuervo's over there beating you upside the head, right? Jose just relentless. He's shaking you upside down in that toilet bowl, right?
Ooh, how many times
You know?
we said that? I'm
And he
never
was like,
drinking again.
And literally the
Yeah,
next day you
that-
at it again because of your
The
boy,
hair-
because your friend
what they
said.
say, it's the hair of the dog.
Well, not only that,
You think
but
it's the hair of
no,
the
it's not
dog
the worst
to
thing.
make you
The
feel
worst
better,
advice,
right?
no, the worst advice is you need to just drink a little bit more because your body's craving it. So you need to just drink another shot. It's gonna make you
Exactly.
feel better.
Right, the hair of the
So
dog.
literally within hour, is that what that it is? The hair of the dog.
Yeah, is
I
that
was
right?
not-
That's what they call that. That's the hair of the dog.
that was
like
not-
a beer, like
that must be a Philly.
I don't know.
That's actually Philly or Chicago thing.
Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. People heard
The
that.
hair of the dog.
Yeah, like you hung over and something like just drink a beer. Like it's usually
Okay.
like a beer. Drink a beer, you'll be okay. I don't know. Maybe it's just no. I'm sure people heard of that.
Yeah,
But yes,
probably.
exactly. Right? Like
Yeah.
sticking to your guns. Like no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna.
It takes a conviction. Like a lot of times, it's anytime when people are at a life and death, circumstance, that typically is something that convicts most people. Some people maybe not, but I know a lot of people
usually hardship.
when people face some extreme hardship,
Yeah.
like facing death or prison or something like that,
Or like
right?
about to get fired from your job. Like okay.
Yeah.
All right,
right?
I'm gonna be on time.
Or your spouse is
I'ma be-
leaving. Or your
I'ma be-
spouse is leaving.
Your-
right?
your-
Say,
your
"All
spouse
right,
like,
babe,
I'm
finally
I'm
gonna
fed
do
up.
it right, right?
I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna do right.
But like R. Kelly said though, when she's fed up, ain't nothing you could do about it.
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
La da 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 da.
Okay.
Da da da.
Oh no.
Yo, let me do that again.
No.
I get it. I get it.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again.
Da.
We get your point.
Da da da. La da
But,
da.
a lot of dollars.
A lot of
Yeah. That was
Right?
Cedric the Entertainer. Oh, that comedy show was awesome.
Right.
Shout out to what was that tour? Cedric the Entertainer, Mike Epps, Hurricane. Y'all did y'all thing. Y'all did y'all thing in Atlanta a few
Okay.
days back.
Whatever tour that
What was
was
it?
of comedians in Atlanta.
I named the comedians, but y'all did y'all thing. That was hilarious.
D.L. Hughley.
D.L. Hughley. I'm
Right?
sorry,
You- you-
DL.
you-
I
you're not
can't
proper.
leave- They all did it. It was a great show.
Yeah, it was a great show. But on that note,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a break.
Yeah,
know,
come back.
We're gonna transition into another segment of conscious intercourse right
Yeah.
after this message from our sponsors.
Indeedy. Let's get it. The show the lolly dog. Are we back?
Conscious,
Are we back?
conscious intercourse.
Let's get back to it, y'all.
We consciously share experiences to propel our spiritual evolution.
Yes. That's what our conscious intercourse is.
Right?
To
Good.
penetrate the mind.
Penetrate the mind.
To penetrate conscious thinking. You know, to penetrate the
That word, right?
cerebral cortex.
Cerebral cortex. What?
To make a difference.
Not the medulla oblongata.
But yes, that's what, what we have to understand as conscious beings, and with all these talks that we have.
Yeah.
And we don't come on, let me say this. We don't come on here thinking we know everything. We don't come on here trying to tell nobody what to do. We simply come on here to
Well,
raise.
actually, I do, but I don't know about you.
You do. You do sometimes. But it's raising the awareness.
Yes.
It's just raising the awareness of where we are as a people, to get people to start thinking about, trauma and what it's done
The
to
T word,
you.
right?
Right. But that causes the domino effect to so many other things. And it's like we don't tap into that and focus on the trauma, and it just throws everything else off. Stop trying to do all this and go back to the source.
So is that why people can't keep up their New Year's resolutions?
There you go.
They're traumatized?
And they're traumatized because it's like learned behavior, because it's a coping thing that you're used to doing.
That's an interesting point.
And it's a great point.
Interesting point, because if you're going to say trauma is the reason why people can't keep their resolutions, right? Because I'm not saying that's what you said. I'm just formulating my own concepts around it, right?
Okay.
We're traumatized by...
Sometimes self-inflicting things.
Yes, but
Right?
I'm going back to, as a child, right? You're a child, and you see something on the counter,
Right.
and you want to climb and get it.
Right.
And bow! Upside the head,
Yep.
right? So you're going to fall. You can't climb, right?
Right.
That happens. And then next thing, it's something else, right? You're...
You see the stove. You want to
Exactly.
grab something off the stove.
Rest
You
in
get
peace.
burnt.
Exactly, right?
Right.
But you're being ultimately... I don't want to use the word conditioned, but that's what it is, right? You're being told what you can and can't do. Your limitations are being placed upon you, right? By just you trying to just being a curious
Just
child,
being.
just being.
Right.
You come into this world and everything is new. You want to learn. You want to
Things
experience these
colorful
things, right?
and,
But you're being told, stop, don't do
shiny.
this, don't do that, right? Money
Right.
doesn't grow on trees. You're being continuously just reprimanded for being yourself, right? Next thing you know, you begin to, like,
Adapt.
not necessarily adapt, but to become a little bit more
Subdued?
Subdued, yeah, that's the word. Subdued, right?
So where you're not
Where you become a
expressing
little
yourself.
fearful to try things, to explore, right? It's like your exploration, that curiosity has been like,
Suppressed.
stifled, suppressed. That's the great words, right? We need some dictionaries up in here,
I
encyclopedias. Your grandmama encyclopedias, right? It's being suppressed,
Yeah.
and you grow up, right? And this
And it's
happens.
the
It
same
happens.
thing,
It happens at home when you've been, reared as a child. Then it happens at school.
Exactly.
Then it happens in the workforce. The next thing you know, you're afraid to take any type of risks in your life, right? You just become this, this person that just really has no ambitions.
Waiting for somebody to tell you what your ambitions are, or what you
Exactly,
should
right?
be doing or not doing.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly right.
And then when it comes to these resolutions, you're just like, you don't even believe in yourself that you actually could do these things,
Right.
Because you're like, it's too hard, or it's unattainable, right? All these
Right.
things, because that life force, and that's really what I want to utilize. That life force that you inherently came into this world with has been suppressed, stifled. It's been put into a jar,
box.
in a box.
Yeah.
You've been boxed in. Is that trauma?
That is definitely trauma. That is trauma.
Is that trauma?
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of our learned behavior comes from how we were raised, from our parents who didn't know anybody.
So your curiosity being suppressed as a child is traumatic, That's really that's literally.
But how easy is it to just break out of that? How easy is it to, for all your life,
Yes.
you've been living this way and been conditioned to just say, you know what? I've been doing this wrong. I have to just stop it. How can it stop in 30 days by creating new habits and new ways of thinking?
I don't believe so, right? I read something or saw something recently where it says that by the time we're 35, everything that we do is essentially automatic, on cruise control, right? It's like your subconscious mind is just operating
Yeah.
on
Autopilot.
autopilot.
How
right?
do how you
unconsciously,
do
like
that?
everything
Yeah.
that you're doing is just unconscious. So you're not even aware of what you're doing. You're just kind of just going through the motions,
Right.
right? Is that a state of trauma?
That is trauma.
That is very intriguing.
That is trauma. Just like telling your child you could do whatever you want to do. Right? Go out and be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Go. You could do that. Right?
Yes.
You talking to this child who live in the suburbs,
Yes.
probably one of the only black families, or
Yes.
just as an example, just using this example.
Hypothet-
But you can go do whatever you
hypothetical.
want to do and be
Yeah.
whatever you want to be. So
Yeah.
you out here doing what all the other kids is doing.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
You can't do what little Jimmy across the street is doing.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's not gonna be the same result for you. So you have to be aware of who you are, and how your life is going to be different and how you have to move different. Because telling your children that they can do or be anything is traumatizing your child.
That's very.
That's
intriguing.
trauma.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if they're going out here actually believing it and thinking it,
You have to set parameters. Is that what you're saying?
you have to set parameters. And the thing is to not. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying. You want your children to believe that they can achieve things, right?
Indeed.
That you don't want them to limit themselves. But you have to be open and honest about the life and the world that we live in, the reality of things.
I mean, yeah, there's limitations, right? You can't
They
tell
are.
a child you could be whatever you want to be, and they think they could be a bird and go, find the tallest building in the world and say,
fly.
Hey, I could. My
But that's what
daddy
I'm
said I could
saying.
be whatever I want to be. Let me go fly.
There you
So
go.
You gotta
People
be,
have done it. I just saw this TikTok, and this girl really rearranged her whole face. She got black eyes and she got some kind of horns growing out the top of her mouth. Like, I'm like, what is that? But somebody told her she could be whatever she wanted to be, and she wanted to be a demon, I guess. So there she goes. She's a demon.
So, yes, that's
You could
interesting.
be born a man,
right?
but you don't have to stay a man if you don't
Oh,
want to be that.
Are you going there?
I
right
am
now?
going there. But
I
society,
have
I'm
nothing
just
to do
saying.
with what she said.
But I'm saying, society has
Leave me
made it
out of
okay, right? So if that's not your situation, and you looking at society and social media, social media is traumatizing.
So going back to this New Year's resolution, right? So a lot of us are unable to maintain our resolutions because of some facet of trauma that we've experienced.
Yes.
If we could say that, because those traumatic events have created some types of hindrance within us. Right?
Absolutely.
So if we look at from a larger scale, grander, perspective, how do we even get to the point where there is a such thing as a new year when it's freezing cold outside and everything is dead, right? Where the birds have left and vacated, where the bears are hibernating, right? When nature is closed for business, right? But we're celebrating
A
New
new
Year,
year.
right? Where did that come from, right? Where did the calendar come from, right? Where does time come from? Like, because, ultimately when we talked about all these things that, we were taught by our parents, the school systems, different timeline, different, forms of systematic, institutionalized, ways of thinking,
Right.
of perceiving the world, which ultimately are contrary to our innate being,
Exactly.
our innate, matriculation of our souls, right?
Right.
Therefore causing, if we're going to identify trauma as these things, another
Right.
form of trauma
Yeah.
because you're now are being forced to operate according to a timeline that's not innate, right? Because as human beings, we have circadian rhythms, right? We have these things naturally that we come to this world that actually tell us time, right? Your circadian rhythm ultimately determines when it's nighttime and
Very
when
profound.
it should start making melanin, right?
Yeah.
So here we are, it's January 1st, 2023, on some type of timeline. But for most of us here in the Western world or Western hemisphere, I think, yeah, it's January 1st and it's winter and everything is dead.
And we are very connected to the universe, right?
Exactly, right?
We're very much connected to that. So
Yeah.
we're also feeling that.
So
right?
we are here trying to put these New Year's resolution into play, right? We're trying to do all these things, trying to jumpstart, manifestations, creativity,
Right.
in the dead of winter, when in nature, no one's manifesting anything but rest and sleep, right?
Because this is the time of year you want that.
You
It's
just wanna
like it's hard to
chill,
get
right?
up. You just want to relax and chill and
Right.
prepare and plan. This is
Exactly.
because in my mind, in my body, that's what it's telling me. Like this is the time that I prepare.
You plant seeds.
I plant seeds,
Yeah.
so I can, be productive. So
Correct.
when like you said, the spring comes.
I didn't say that, but I get your point.
When the earth, when the universe, or at least our Western hemisphere,
Exactly.
is sprouting new things,
New life, right?
new life,
Flowers are blooming.
we have to be
you
very
know?
connected.
The
to
birds
that.
are back, and they're like,
Yes. So that's what you were
Right?
alluding to, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yes,
All right.
most definitely, right?
All right. So
You know,
that's the new year.
Yeah, technically that is the new year, right? The
Right.
spring equinox, right? Even you look at ancient civilizations, majority of them, if not all of them, didn't really celebrate the new year until spring, until certain things were sprouting, until certain things were blooming,
Right.
until certain things were ripening, right?
Right.
And then in conjunction with what was happening around them,
Right.
with the celestial bodies, right? The moon, right? The stars, right? The constellations, right? All these things were put in place for us to tell time.
So do you say that to say that in January that it's hard for it's a bad time to try to start a new way of thinking and taking your mind to try to create new habits? Is this the wrong time
You're
to
smart.
do that?
You're a genius.
Because our mind and bodies are supposed to be doing something else.
I believe so. That's something that I'm, theorizing.
Because you do
right?
naturally feel a certain way in the spring, don't you?
Yeah,
It's
you
like-
want to get out and walk, right? And
You
hit
wanna-
the gym.
That's because the weather's good.
right?
In the
It
cold, you
feels
don't want to
good.
be out in the cold.
Like even like think about it in the spring when you wake up and you hear the birds chirping, right?
It's a beautiful sound.
You want to get up and get out and do
And let the
stuff.
sun
They're
hit
they're
your
waking
face.
you up. Like, yo, it's time to get out. You get
Yes.
outside, you see the flowers. The
Yes.
sun is shining. It's warm. It feels good. You want to work out. You want to eat better.
Yeah.
You want to do all these things, right? You
Right.
want to. You have energy
Right.
to execute the things that you've been planning all winter, right? So for me, it's like, was this intentionally done to keep us subdued?
And if it was intentionally done, why? Who would benefit?
Exactly.
Who
right?
would benefit from that way of thinking?
Exactly, right?
People who are maybe that come from those conditions,
Perhaps,
like the Caucasus Mountains.
perhaps, right? Because even if you look at the history, right?
Yeah.
Of the calendar systems, right? A lot of it really didn't commence until Rome, right? Even if we look at a lot of how we operate today,
It's Roman.
right?
Yeah.
There's some Roman influence
It's
around
definitely.
it, right? We still are in Rome in a sense, right? If you just look at everything, the words that we choose, even how we relate with each other in relationships, we call it romance. You know what I'm saying? Rome, right? All languages that we speak are of romantic origin, you know, Latin origin, right? So Rome had a great influence on the world, right? The Roman
Absolutely.
Empire, right? They, you know, at one point in time they had set an objective to take over the world and institute their thoughts, right? Their way of thoughts, their way of their culture, the way of doing things, the way of living on the majority of the world.
And we've adopted that.
And it's remained intact.
It has.
Right? It's just what it is. And for whatever reason, this calendar system they felt was necessary for their dominion. Right? Because think about it, if you're going to colonize the world, essentially was what it was, right?
Right.
Aren't you going to put systems in place to ensure your subjects are less equipped to overtake you? Right?
Absolutely.
So not only do you overtake them by force, but then you implement systems and ideologies.
So what you're saying is this is still modern day slavery.
I mean,
And we have the mentality of slaves. And
I mean,
it's
no,
true.
It's just is what it is,
It is
to a
what it
certain
is.
extent, right? We are people who are becoming very aware,
Very
right?
much
In
so.
this age of Aquarius, this age of information, right? Information, right? We have access to a lot of data now, right?
Absolutely.
And we then have, as we have in these conscious dialogues, right? You know, and we see them across the world, you know, shout outs to, 19 Keys with this high level conversations, right? As we're having these conscious intercourses and these high level conversations, we then have to tap into our true essence.
Right.
Who we are, who were we prior to conditioning, right? Prior to the world or the powers that be or the people that occupy the territories in which we were born in,
Right.
put systems in place for a specific agenda to facilitate a certain agenda, right?
And
Who
to
were
keep us
we?
under a certain control.
Who were we, right? Right. If you truly were in tune with your true essence and with nature, it won't be that difficult to manifest things such as wealth, such as perfect health. All these things that we set resolutions for, wouldn't it be easier per se, or wouldn't the ground be more fertile if we did these things in an alignment with nature and our universe as universal beings who are, incarnated to operate in alignment with nature,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the Bible talks about how, the stars, the not necessarily the stars, but yeah, the celestial bodies, right? The stars in the skies and the moon and such, and the land, right? Agriculture, right? Were to be utilized for the seasons, to tell the seasons and the times. I know, in the Hebrew faith or the Hebrew culture rather, the new year doesn't begin until, I believe it's barley reaches a certain point of ripen of being ripened, right? And at that point in time, they're supposed to look at the moon, right? And upon the following, once they determine that the barley has ripened to a certain point where it's, I believe it's edible, right? Then you look at the moon, and the next full moon, not full moon, new moon rather, is the beginning of the year,
Okay.
right? And that only happens in the springtime, right? So the Bible itself talks about when the beginning of the year should be, and it's there, in the text.
But it also has to do on what regions, what areas we're in.
So I'm saying it can be different, exactly.
Right.
So exactly.
The
So we all can. Great point, right?
Yes.
So we all cannot collectively celebrate the new
cannot.
year at the same
At the
time.
same
When some
time.
people are in winter
And
over
some
here,
peop-
some people are in summer over
exactly.
here, some people in the spring over there, some people in the fall
Exactly.
over there, right? It doesn't make
Exactly.
sense.
It doesn't.
But when you're trying to create worldwide dominion, right, and control, I suppose it makes sense.
The thing I think is just self-control. Like
Self-control.
self-control. When is your What is your season? What are you going through within yourself? When is your spring? When is your winter? Where are you? When are you dead? And when are you most alive? You have to establish that for yourself.
You think
Right?
so? You
I
think
think
you think that's
so.
different from when nature determines? You think someone can be in spring and it's winter outside within themselves?
Absolutely. I absolutely do. And that's
Interesting.
and that's and that's through self control, through meditation, and yeah, taking control of yourself. Having an understanding of who you are, what you want, and not being influenced by everything and everybody else around you. And sometimes that's hard to do when you are constantly within a world of learned behavior and influence. And
Indeed.
that's what's hard for our people to do, I believe, is to tap into your innate self.
Yes.
And that's why meditation is important, for you to be still, for you to feel, to tap into your feelings and what you're going through, because it's not going to be what everybody else going through. You could be dealing with sunshine, and then you run into someone who's going through a storm.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? And then what happens? Then it rains on you.
Not necessarily.
It doesn't have to,
no,
if
it depends. So it's this thing.
It depends on what?
No. It depends on who's bringing the stronger energy to the equation.
It depends on if you are going to allow
but
it.
But why does it have to be storm? Why does the storm have to dominate the sun? You said
I'm not saying it has to, but I'm saying
you
9 times out of 10
you
it
said
does.
then what happens is storms on you. I'm like, why can't it be the other way? Why can't it shine? Why can't it be sunshine on you?
Or that can happen as well. That's the
Exactly.
thing. My point in
Right.
saying that is control yourself. If that's what you want, because not everybody has that self-control. But you meditating and getting in tune with who you are,
Indeed.
you be that force. You say that I'm going to be the influence. I'm the sunshine.
But
So
yeah.
I'm going to bring sunshine wherever I go.
Indeed, yes. Positive energy, right?
Yes.
Bringing forth positive, good energy everywhere you
Yes.
go is essential,
Yes.
right? To a beautiful life, a stress-free life. I totally agree with that, right? But for me, with self-control, though, I think there's a thin line that I'm exploring with self-control,
Okay.
right? Because we could agree that control is an illusion to a certain extent. Because a lot of us says that there's not too much we could control about everything else,
Okay.
right? Why does that exclude ourselves, right? That's something I have to explore further, because when you say, if we say that we
But
can't
so you
control,
going back to saying what people telling you.
no, I'm not saying what people are telling you. I'm going deeper than that. Not about what people are telling you. What is your innate? So the thing about it is, I believe that we all come into this world to fulfill a certain purpose. It's like a God-given purpose that you're supposed to perform and achieve. It's from the source of being.
Okay.
So I feel like we have like a compass or some type of a manual within us spiritually,
Yeah.
right? When we come into this world. So how much control do you really have? Because if this thing wants you to be this thing over here, but you want to do this thing over here and say, oh, I'm going to utilize self-control to lead myself over here. But innately, deep down within, you've been formulated to do this thing over here. So then it's like, can you truly exercise
So
self-control?
then you got your innate nature, and then you
Yeah.
got influence, and then it's like you're battling.
No, I'm not saying influence. I'm talking about you yourself. You may, for example, we live in a world where things are presented to you. You watch TV.
Right.
You watch, like you said earlier, you could be whatever you want to be, right? Because the world talks about it. You could be whatever you want to be. You could be this thing over here, right? You could be this, that, and the other.
Right.
So you choose with your mind
Right.
to logically, right? Use your mind to choose to do ABC over here.
Right.
When you've been formulated to do XYZ.
Right.
But then you say, I'm going to utilize self-control to do ABC. And you keep wondering why ABC is not working.
But you got to
Right.
understand. You got to ask yourself, what is your motivation behind these things, and is it yours, or is it someone else's?
Exactly. Tapping
Right.
into your innate self.
Right.
Connecting
So
to
I feel like
yourself,
if you
right?
actually tap into that person, it's going to
Then
lead you onto that path.
then you don't need self-control.
You don't need it.
Because you're following your... So I'm saying,
So
that's really what
so
I'm trying to...
I think that's really what I'm
That's
trying
really
to
what I was
say.
trying to address with self-control.
Right.
It's more identifying and connecting to
Yourself,
your
you're
innate...
in the universe.
purpose.
Absolutely.
Or why you're here.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Tapping into that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Tapping into that and not being easily influenced by the powers that be.
Yeah. Or just your
Right?
friends.
Or
your partner.
that's what I'm saying.
Or
The things
your-
that you've
yeah.
given power to. Because
Exactly.
you're not in control of yourself.
Indeed.
Right? So you got to ask yourself, what have you given power to? And take your power back.
Yeah. Tapped into yourself. Knowing that's what I'm saying, know thyself, right?
Know
to know
thyself.
thyself, right?
Absolutely.
Is our greatest, tool
Absolutely.
for self-discovery, right?
Absolutely. And to surround yourself with people who are on that same path. Because that's very important. And that should be a major goal and resolution in the year. Make sure you're around like-minded people. Because
Yeah.
that's a distraction when you're not. If you're saying
Exactly.
you're not going to do this and you're going to stop, but then you're hanging around people who are still doing that thing
Yeah.
or who are not as disciplined as you, that's how you're gonna fall. You're gonna retract back to those bad habits.
You gotta, essentially cut people off. Huh?
You got to cut people off. You got to, tap back into yourself. Make sure you're around people who keep you motivated, keep you on those goals and resolutions that you set.
Yeah, that definitely. I guess that's what we talked about even earlier with the accountability
Right.
partners, right? Partner or partners, right? Your
Right.
circle, right? Your mastermind, right?
That's right. Your tribe.
Your tribe, right?
Yeah.
Is ultimately, gonna dictate your ability to manifest and create the life that you desire,
Right.
right? And also just being in tune with just, nature.
Absolutely.
Like we talked about, because I think we are energy, nature's energy.
Absolutely.
And there are certain times where we're supposed to use that energy to manifest, right? That is
using that energy to either build
or destroy.
or destroy.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So
Indeed.
that's what it's about. And we are very powerful beings. We can easily build and we can easily destroy. So it's like, set those goals. Like, what am I choosing to build?
Yeah.
Right? What am I choosing to be? And do whatever it takes to do that. And keep people in your life around you that's going to help you stay focused.
Exactly.
Right?
And not to be so caught up on the calendar, right? and it whatever the world says is the beginning or the end, right?
Exactly.
Living your life.
And what
as
makes
you-
sense for you.
Yeah, what you've been connected to, how you've been, brought into this world to experience and fulfill your, purpose.
But that's profound too. Knowing when you're letting your higher self make decisions and when you're letting your lower self
ego
or
right?
ego exactly
Right.
make a decision for you. Like if you guys bringing people into your life to help you, but
Yes.
you're not recognizing it,
Exactly.
right? Because you're still caught up in those old habits and old ways of thinking that you're not even able to be open to these things.
Exactly.
See, we can, sometimes we left to our own understanding, and that itself is traumatizing. We got to get out of it and sometimes be open to listening and, to other people that comes in our life.
Yeah, when it resonates, right? You also have
and
to
you
be able
have
to
to
have
know.
that discernment,
You
right?
have
to
to.
something resonate with you,
Yes.
right? Because some people will come into your life to destroy you
To destroy you.
or
But
to lead you to destruction, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to be able to recognize when, and sometimes it's time for you to get destroyed. That's the thing about life, right? It's so interesting, right?
sometimes you got to be
Because-
broken down to be built back up.
I mean, it's because a lot of times we get so caught up on good and bad, right? Oh, we try to avoid bad things from happening, right? That's what ego to me
Yeah.
is. Your ego is associated with your flesh, with your body, right? So ego tries to protect you from pain, right?
Right.
That's my favorite subject is relationships, right? One of the reasons why people set boundaries and guidelines for relationships is to prevent hurt.
And pain.
But
Yeah.
that's not life.
Right.
Life is about experiencing both.
And
Do
and knowing
do-
when
it's-
something,
yeah.
and what they say, nothing's happening to you.
It's
It's
happening
happening
for
for
you.
you.
Exactly.
Let it happen.
Yeah, we can't
Right?
avoid
You
hurt.
can't avoid it.
Hurt is part of the journey.
It's
You got to
part
be
of
able
the
to enjoy
journey.
the hurt just as much as you enjoy the pain. I mean,
Absolutely.
the joy.
The hurt, the pain, just as much as the reward. You know?
Exactly. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Whatever that means. The opposite of heart. Right? Feel good. The feel good is supposed to feel good just as much as the hurt feel good, right?
But you got to be open to receiving that. And sometimes you can block your blessings.
Yes, because your
You know?
blessings may need to be painful for them to actually, bring forth
Fruit.
that fruit.
Yeah.
It's like apoptosis, right? A caterpillar goes through a lot of pain and struggle before it could turn into a beautiful butterfly, right?
Right.
So these are things that we have to be conscious of and aware as we evolve.
And not be so hard on yourselves.
Well, yeah, definitely.
You know?
Compassion for yourself,
Have
right?
compassion for yourself.
Yeah, because it starts with you, right?
Absolutely.
Because you can't be compassionate to others until you're compassionate to yourself. Or empathetic to others until you are,
Absolutely.
loving and compassionate to yourself.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's just a great lesson for us to, as we commence this, we
New
recognize
year.
what it is, this calendar,
This new
calendar
calendar
new year,
year.
with this season, where this is a
Yeah.
topic of discussion, a topic at most people's minds. It's like, okay, this is a new year. What are we going to do? It's this, that, and the other. How am I going to put my plans? I got to do this. I got to do that. Tap into, your innate self. Look at nature. What is nature telling you, right? What is your innate self telling you, right? Tapping into that, because that is how you're going to actually truly manifest all these things that you're talking about manifesting this year.
Right.
Is by being in tune, aware.
Take time
with who
out
you
again.
are.
One of our favorite words on this show is meditate.
Yes.
Meditate.
Take
Be
time to
still.
be silent. They said God's only voice is silent, right? Silence,
Absolutely.
rather, right? So if we look at 2023, also, is interestingly enough, if you add up all the numbers, they come up to 7. So,
Look at you.
it's a year, right? It's
Look
a year.
at you.
It's a year of perfection, right? It's a year.
Time to get it right.
Yeah, it's a year of perfection. It's a spiritual year, right? The number 7 is a spiritual number.
It is.
So if this could be some type of an incentive or some type of, a token to take on this, time period, and become intentional about how you're approaching things. It's also, 7 is also, in certain cultures, a year of rest as well. So maybe a year to just take it easy, because you've been going so hard, It's just called this, well, at least in the Hebrew, culture, and even other cultures, it's the Shabbat year or the Sabbath year.
Take a hiatus.
So 7 is
you need to do that.
Yeah,
Sometimes you need to
you
take
gotta,
a hiatus.
you gotta rest.
Gotta
right?
rest.
Gotta take. I'm not saying just don't do nothing, but
Right.
just you may need more rest this year than others, because sometimes you could do more by doing less.
So very true.
Indeed.
And with that, y'all, let's get this new calendar year started right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Let's set healthy goals and healthy boundaries and expectations.
Definitely.
Woo!
Okay, Nazar the Star. We staying in tune. Brethren. Wagwan. Much love, to the people out there listening.
Yes. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Shout
And please,
outs
always,
to our people. Right?
Tap in and give us your feedback. That's what we want. We want to hear y'all feedback on how you feel about this stuff. This is all good information for all.
Yeah, right. And Nazar the Star said, stay in tune. Yes, we got to stay in tune and stay plugged in.
Yeah.
Because we're getting messages daily, constantly. We got to receive those downloads.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just got to slow down. So that, just.
And sometimes you also got to block. You got to block stuff off to not allow things to penetrate.
Yeah, we just need time to listen. Well, it says that we process over 70,000 thoughts per day. That's insane.
That's
right?
a lot.
So we're being bombarded with thoughts, right? So we just need that time to just turn off the TV, turn off the phone, just find my favorite place is the bathroom. I go in there because I got 2 doors. I like the bedroom door, the bathroom door. I'm in there.
Yeah.
I just need that moment to just silence,
Absolutely.
to tune into myself and listen, right? And that's
And breathe.
ultimately, you know,
And breathe.
that's where all the magic happens, right? That place of silence.
Yes.
Because at that point in time, you could do your best to avoid the familiar past and also ignore the predictable future, right? And tap into that present moment.
Present
A
moment.
lot of times we're not present.
That's right.
Because we can't listen
A
or
lot of
hear
times.
or receive the downloads because we're not present.
We're not.
We're
We're
distracted.
thinking about the past and projecting the future. Like,
Right?
No.
We're shooting up fireworks because it's a new year, right? Pop, 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 pop. But we don't want to take time to listen, to be in tune,
with ourselves.
right?
Absolutely.
That is critical to our success. So
Yes,
as
it
we
is.
really, approach this year, I'm gonna wait till the spring to actually, pop my fireworks. But I get it. I celebrate it all. We all,
Celebrate life.
it's
You know,
every day is a celebration.
every
Waking up
day
every
is a
day
chance to do-
is
to
a
get it better,
celebration.
to do it right.
Gratitude is a must.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to toast every day,
And
not just on the new
gratitude.
year,
Speaking of gratitude, be thankful in all
for
things.
everything,
All things.
even the pain.
Even the pain.
You know,
Especially the pain.
even be grateful for the struggles.
Yes. Absolutely.
for the lessons,
Absolutely.
right? So this is who we are as a people, and the ability to connect with one another and share experiences. This is what we talked about, right?
This is
This
therapy.
whole platform, right?
Absolutely.
Come together to share our experiences for the sake of spiritual evolution, right?
Absolutely.
Because ultimately we have to evolve. That's who we are, right? And as we begin to transcend the physical reality, I'm also, when we talk about trauma as well, right? Because a lot of times, as we get ready to close this out, we talk about trauma. We ultimately identify that we have to heal from it, right? So this healing term has become very, very trendy right now. I don't have anything against it, but I think I want to take a little deep further, right? Because when we talk about healing, we are actually acknowledging that we are in the process of going from a place of hurt to a place of being healed. So in the meantime, we're not healed. We're accepting,
Healing.
acknowledging. No, but
a
you're still
process.
acknowledging that you're still in this pain.
Yeah.
That you're unable to do certain things or accomplish certain things because you're not. You have to wait until you're healed, until you get to a certain point for you to do certain things. But to me, I think that's limiting in a sense, right? It's limiting because you're acknowledging that you're in a place where you can't accomplish certain things. So to me, as a spiritual being, right, there's no such thing as being in a place where you're not whole, where you're not complete, because it's like you're in a place where you lack integrity by detailing that you're healing. It's like saying it's like a bridge that is built to to support cars and trains, whatever that pass by, right? When a storm hits, they're talking about the bridge is losing its integrity, right? As a spiritual being, if you continuously reiterate that you're in a place of healing,
You can never truly be healed.
you're losing.
Yeah.
You're relinquishing. You have no integrity because you're discrediting your spiritual nature. That is just a thought that I wanted to share, right? Conscious intercourse.
Because thoughts
right?
are powerful.
Exactly.
Your thoughts are and it starts there.
So rather than healing, let's evolve.
There you go. I'm evolving.
I'm evolving.
Very profound point. Great
Yeah.
point.
Just want to share that with you beautiful, amazing, conscious people out
Yes.
there.
So let's do that for 2023. Let's continue to evolve.
Evolve. Infinite matriculation.
Yes.
Conscious being. Once again,
Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all.
Yes.
Keep spreading love.
yes.
You
Your
know.
host, Armand.
And
And-
Ebony and Mapil.
Until we meet again,
Yes, y'all. Conscious intercourse. See y'all next
be
time.
well. Peace.